are talking about the film Celeste and Jesse Forever with director Lee Tolan Krieger. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Last night, so I'm still
It's an early morning, isn't
getting
it?
my bearings.
Yeah. How are the nerves the same on the second time?
I think even more so.
Really?
Not that my first film made that big a splash, but it's at least sort of people are aware of it to an extent, I think. So I think there are some level of expectation, whereas with my first film there was no expectations, so the bar was pretty low.
All right, we're having some mic issues. We're going to take care of that for just a second. Let's see if we can get his mic up and rolling. We're going to take a quick look outside while we work out the technical difficulties, and we'll be right back.
I do that many times.
He's mic 1.
All right. All right, sorry about that. We're back so we can hear everything that we were talking about. He was actually giving a good answer. He was here back in 2009, and now you're talking about it being a little bit more difficult the second time around, maybe because you know what's...
Yeah, what's ahead.
What's ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we've got a slightly flashier cast this time, so I think there are a few more eyes on us, and yeah, having had a film here before, I think there's now some level of expectation, whereas there wasn't before.
Yeah. Let's talk about your cast. You've got a great cast in this film.
We do. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, Rashida Jones is our lead, and she co-wrote the script with Will McCormick, who is also in the film, but it's Rashida and Andy in what is Andy Samberg in what is a kind of a two-hander, and then Rashida, because she's sort of like the unofficial mayor of Hollywood, we call her, knows everyone, and was able to call in a lot of favors. So Elijah Wood and Emma Roberts and Chris Messina and Ari Grainer came in, did bit parts. There's a secret cameo by Chris Pine. There's some fun casting in this film, thanks to Rashida and our lovely casting directors.
So tell us how you assembled this team and how this film came to be. Tell us kind of how it all started.
Well, the film was sort of set up first at Fox Atomic with another director, and Fox Atomic went away, and that other director went away, and they came to me, and at first we were going to make it for what seemed to be sort of a normal size budget, and like a lot of movies these days, it kept running into one sort of financial problem after the other, and we joke, but it ended up being, you know, made for about $25. But it really came together in large part because Rashida had such a, you know, strong urge to make this, being such a personal story, and both she and Will, her partner, and Jennifer Todd, our producer, worked so hard to sort of, you know, find money wherever they could, and we really cobbled it together last minute before Andy Samberg's window closed. He had a very tight window between SNL and another film he was doing.
And you were prepared to work with budgets like that because you've done independent film before, so you knew what to do.
It's all I know. Yeah, there was a minute where I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna actually have like a normal amount of days to shoot this, and a crew, and we can
do
eat,
all those things.
There's going to be a place to sit on set, and then all of those things went away. But it's fine, you know. I'd like to think it's still the same movie it would have been at a bigger budget level.
Yeah. So tell us about the story.
The story is about a couple who have been best friends their entire lives and have gotten married, and we meet them. They're in a car, flirting, fooling around, finishing each other's sentences, and we think they are a happily married couple. And we quickly find out that they're actually divorced, and their friends are concerned about them because they live together, spend every day together, never a moment apart, aren't seeing anyone else, and they don't think it's healthy, so they kind of embark on this journey to start pursuing other relationships, and it ends up being a lot trickier than they imagined it being because they are so close, and it really, you know, questions, you know, is your best friend ultimately the person you should spend the rest of your life with? And some people say yes, and some people say no, and so this film explores that notion a little bit.
Yeah, I think in the film guide it said it's a romp into what modern day marriage is. Is that what your intention was?
Yeah.
Or is that what drew you to the film and exploring what a modern marriage is?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, romp is kind of a strong word. I'm not sure that romp is quite right, but I do think it is a modern love story, in part because, you know, Rashida's character, for instance, is, you know, she's a very strong woman. She's the person that wears the pants in the relationship. She's the sort of type A workaholic, whereas Andy's character, Jesse, is a guy who's kind of a 30-year-old man boy and hasn't really grown up and is sort of happy being, you know, Mr. Mom at home a little bit, if that makes sense. And so, you know, in that respect, it's pretty modern, but it's also, you know, how they deal with a breakup, I think, is a more progressive approach, maybe. And I think that's maybe where that's coming from. So.
Well, we've got a clip. Do you know what we're going to see in this clip?
I have no idea.
We have no idea. Well, we'll all find out together. So let's take a quick look at the film Celeste and Jesse Forever.
Beth and Tucker are crazy.
Crazy?
Right?
Yes.
I mean, it is not weird that we hang out all the time. Do you think it's weird we hang out all the time?
No, you're my best friend.
Yeah, you're my best friend too. Last time we didn't speak for more than a week was in 10th grade when you went to Space Camp Canada.
That was a brutal 5 weeks. The anti-gravity training was crazy though. But I missed you.
Me too.
So that was a quick look at Celeste and Jesse Forever, and that was the opening scene that you were just talking about where they're finishing each other's sentences.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
it?
actually not quite the opening, but it's
Okay.
very early in the scene when they've had dinner with their friends who have sort of called them out on their weird behavior, and now they're assessing the situation for themselves. So yeah, it's early in the film, and hopefully it sets it up a little bit. I'm not sure that it does actually. But well, yeah.
Well, we got to see a little bit of them in action, Rashida and Andy. So how was it directing this cast? Tell us kind of about the process that you went through. Did you, was it a new experience for you having such experienced actors?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, you know, with The Vicious Kind, I had real pros, which was great.
Which was here in 2009, correct?
Which was here in 2009. Right. And this was different mostly because with The Vicious Kind, I'd written it. With this, Rashida and Will wrote it, and they weren't just the writers; they were also in the film and producers on the movie. And so, you know, understandably, they had, you know, very strong opinion on how the material should be realized. And so, you know, fortunately, we all got along great, but there was, I think, there was a lot more sort of sidebar conversations and a lot more prep work going into, you know, me sort of sitting down and saying, this is where I want to take it. This is how I see putting this together. Does this work for you guys? And then they would come up with a lot of things that I'd never thought of. And I like to think I presented things being kind of the third party that they hadn't thought of either. And so that was new for me. And then, you know, having what I would call like the nicest cast in the world was just really helpful, especially when you're making a movie in 22 days. It's just, it's, you know, so quick, and there's a lot of chaos, and to have people like Andy and Elijah and Ari Grainer, who are quite literally the most lovely people on the planet, was helpful because I'd be, you know, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and, you know, Ari would come over, give me a hug, and can I get you anything? I was like, you just sit and focus, it's fine. But they were all looking out for me. So
I was going to say, it sounds like a kind of a good team. Maybe you should think of another movie with them. It sounds like you found a good balance altogether.
Yeah, I would absolutely do another movie with any of those guys. They're great, and we're all staying in one house here in the mountains, having a good time. So it's a little bit of a reunion.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what is it about? I mean, the thing that I love about doing this show is talking with people that, with independent film, it's such a sacrifice, a personal sacrifice to make these films come to life.
Right.
What is it about filmmaking that you just love?
We could be here for a while to get into that. No, I mean, look, you know, the ability to be a storyteller in this kind of medium is a pretty special job, and I say it all the time. I think I have the best job in the world, and you know, I mean, you know, Celeste and Jesse is a perfect example of we're shooting in Los Angeles in the spring, and I've got what became sort of a really close group of friends all sitting around being creative and working on something that we all believed in, and telling a story that really touched and moved all of us. So, you know, the fact that nobody made a penny on the movie was sort of an afterthought, you know, or barely an afterthought, because we were all having such a good time making it. So I don't know if that quite answers the question, but
well,
it was a great time.
I just think it's such an intriguing question, because so many people put so much on the line. We had a director here yesterday that said he literally couldn't eat. You know, he had no money, and yet he devoted 5 years to his film, and it's just it's an incredible story. I love hearing the stories from the directors on how it worked on putting the films together.
I've been there. I'm there right now.
Yeah.
I'm eating craft service because I have no money. So
we've got a great green room.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much
Have
for
a great
having
festival.
me.
It's premiering tonight at 6:30 at the Eccles, right?
6:30 at Eccles, yeah.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And your cast is all here to support you.
Everybody
That's
here,
wonderful.
yeah.
All right, well, get out tonight, 6:30, and take a look at the movie Celeste and Jesse Forever. We'll be back with more in the can right after this.